using AI. It makes a lot of noise. A lot of people are using it wrong as sellers.
Yeah.
Put your personal touch to it.
Stealing from competitors is the best ever.
I would love to hear from you.
If you know how to influence people by emotions, psychology will be on top of the process. There is one strategy that I apply that it's one pain, one solution, one offer at a time.
How you stand out from all the other consultants out there.
Right now, Outbound is about timing, connected to relevance, connected to an intent, a signal, or a trigger.
What I told always my SDRs is don't learn anything by heart except one thing, which is your elevator pitch. If someone wakes you up in the middle of the night, you should be able to respond in 30 seconds and straight to the point.
In these episodes, we're going to teach you exactly the step-by-step of why triggers, intent, and social context impacts the most within your outbound. But stay with us. Before going into there, the first thing that we always want to say is say thanks to our partners. In this case, the main partner, Reply. Thank you for being with us. They are the best AI all-in-one sales engagement tool. You will have all the comments and all the links in the description of this video. So you go and check it out. And thanks to the Reply team for joining in this crazy adventure that we are in. Without further ado, Kevin, let's keep talking about sales, outbound strategies, AI. And the first thing that I want to say in this Confessions of a Seller episode is how do you see outbound evolving and what are your strategies or your techniques about outbound / prospecting nowadays?
Yeah, I think it's really important part is you need to cut through all the noise out there.
How do you do that?
That's a really good
That's a question for me as well.
So as there are so many different ways how you can reach the potential buyer nowadays, and you know by yourself, right? If you are a potential buyer out there and you know it as well, that you get so many emails from people trying to sell you something. Since I built my personal brand, I don't know how many emails I get on a personal day from other tools want to, sell me something and advertisement. So like outreach from SDRs, from account executive, and you need to somehow cut through this noise, right?
Imagine if you have CEO put it in your in your title on LinkedIn. Just the filters and the search will drive you crazy.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So how you are within? For sure, you are an AE, but you're helping your SDR as well in prospecting or reaching out. What's the top strategies right now in order to help sellers say, hey, don't do this, do that?
Yeah. So it's really important to find the relevant intent data.
Mm-hmm.
And data is, I think, with all the different AI tools out there, I think data is one of the key points, right?
Okay.
Because before we had a lot of data in our dashboards, in our CRM system, but we had no idea how to filter that or narrow that down to potential buyers who are maybe now in their stage to engage and reach out to them and schedule this relevant meetings, right?
So basically what you're telling me here is that, and I agree if I'm understanding this right, and this is something that most sellers need to understand, timing is important right now, and that timing will be given by data, by intent. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
So what is intent specifically?
Yeah.
If we have to define intent triggers, we listen about a lot of triggers. Use the triggers or use the intent or signals.
Yeah, intent, signals, triggers, it can be everything, right? If a company went to LinkedIn and they liked one post you shared, downloaded an ebook from your website, they connected with one of your decision makers on LinkedIn. They visited your websites. So that so many different intents. Hiring,
new leadership, or opening new offices.
Let's take one example. Right?
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do one example. You're selling a cloud optimization solution, right?
Okay.
You want to sell to companies who have an issue with the cloud, as they want to optimize that.
Correct.
They're hiring a cloud engineer.
Correct.
Right. What is the job of a cloud engineer, or cloud optimization engineers are called?
Yeah.
Their job is to optimize the cloud. So if a company hires those people, they have a problem with their cloud.
Exactly. Or they are willing to scale.
Oh, they're willing to scale.
There is an intent, there is a trigger that is saying to you, hey, maybe it's the right timing because they are willing to do something.
Correct. So these are all intent data, which now with the capability of AI, we are able to measure them and to silo it down to our SDR team, to your go-to-market team, to reach out and find the right persona and of course getting these meetings.
Okay.
Data is of course important, but I think it's still important as well to cut out or stand out from all the noise, have a kind of different approach than all the other salespeople.
Okay.
Right. I would love to hear from you. How you stand out from all the other consultants out there.
No, it's
offering your service, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you have your personal brand, but I would love to hear.
No, it's really important, and I think that there is a one key differentiator right now, that it's timing. Right now, Outbound, it's about timing, connected to relevance, connected to an intent, a signal, or a trigger.
Yeah.
And without them, or if you don't have all of them at the same time, most likely you will be a little bit of noise, or you will be basically irrelevant in your outreach. So the three things that I'm always focusing when we are doing Outbound, it's what is the trigger, signal, or intent that it's telling me right now is the right timing? What is that intent, trigger, or signal causing as a consequence? So if they are hiring new people, maybe they are expanding, or they just got a fundraising, or they are both doing both things at the same time. That means that they are mainly looking for new solutions for the new market scenario that they will face. Or if they are opening a new office in another market, maybe they are willing to launch that market or expand that revenue share in that market. So I try to find a combination. The more combined intent and triggers, the better, within social context as well. They are liking and commenting on your competitor post about a specific thing that you can solve, right? So you are connecting all the dots. First thing. Second thing, your offer. That it's why timing is important within those triggers and signals. The offer should be completely different than any other offer out there, meaning should be using somehow of risk reversal, or risk, as you were saying in other episodes, de-risking the possibility of them saying yes. In this case, an easy yes for them to say, you know what, why I would say no for this offer, that it's low risk, low investment, low resource, and it's giving me a lot of leverage in whatever the trigger is happening internally. And the third thing, not asking for time in the first, whatever the outreach and whatever the channel.
If I can interrupt you, one really interesting one is like liking your competitors.
Stealing from competitors is the best ever.
I actually built myself like an agent a couple of weeks ago who just did a really simple job. It scraped all the social media platforms of my, and I put in 5 competitors.
Okay.
Scanned all the social media posts of my competitors, extracted all the people who liked and commented their content on a weekly basis, and sent me the the LinkedIn profiles of those people to my email.
What are you waiting to share that with me, man? That's insane. And what is the strategy that you're using when you're reaching out in order to cut through the noise? Like, what are you saying in one specific example?
For me, for example, they're always, if I know, for example, they liked a post from my competitor, I look for the weaknesses of my competitor and use this as an angle to get the conversation rolling. Like, let's say, maybe you're tired that your current provider is changing their customer success people every 6 months.
Correct.
With our solution, of course, we train the AI with a certain knowledge.
Yeah, you give all the pitch as well.
Exactly. If there's no, if someone is leaving from our side, we still have the data, or the information which is needed. Right?
That's awesome. I can give you one example if you want of how I use these competition posts or competitor posts. That is basically imagining that a dream company of mine, a dream potential client of mine, it's replying or commenting something or liking into a competitor that is talking about outbound or go to market or outbound strategies. That it's a specific topic that I know that I can help. So then I reach out to all these relevant people, filter by my ICP, and I say, hey, Kevin, you know what? I noticed that you were commenting on topic X, right? Outbound. I built a resource, right? It could be a one-pager, a PDF, a GPT, custom GPT, whatever it is, a lead magnet, basically, that this might answer your question and help in what you mentioned about XYZ topic. Should I send it over? That's risk averse.
Nice.
That's lower friction. That's adding value. And I'm not requesting any time from their side. But you are still building relevant outbound. Trigger, intent, timing, and relevance.
Really good one. Like that one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that this is crazy how AI can be integrated in these scenarios. And now that we mention AI, I would love to understand. There is one use case that you mentioned sometimes that is whenever you are more expert here in enterprise deals, when you go to events or venues or these type of events, how do you usually and what do you think could be done in order to implement AI that it's not going to disrupt your daily operations but can help you book demos during the event or before the event?
So there's actually a really interesting framework I actually learned as well from a podcast of one of our sponsors, Alta. It's like a 3-step framework. So it's
3-step framework.
Yeah, if you go to events, there's always about preparation, then during the event, and then after the event. Okay. So what I do, for example, with my SDR before the event is finding people, of course, who go to the event, looking through the event list, contacting them before to have a meeting scheduled. Mm-hmm. Because if you're at the event and you have nothing scheduled there,
you're done.
It's a waste of time.
You're done,
honest, right? You have the meeting, should have the meeting scheduled, and then really jump from one meeting to another and exchange. That is extremely helpful, extremely powerful as well. At the event, when you are at the event, look for companies, for example, who are around this area. Let's say I have an event happening in Zurich, right? When I have an event happening in Zurich, I look which companies in Zurich which match our ICP, and can I meet them, for example, for a visit? Can I go to their office? A little bit old-fashioned, but knocking on their office and say, "Hey, can I?"
Let's grab a coffee and let's
look,
meet.
I'm in Zurich. Could we talk about like the old-fashioned way, maybe during a face-to-face conversation?
That's awesome.
Because people appreciate that, right? And then after the event as well, of course, it's super important where you then have all the data available and follow it up accordingly on time. It's pretty important as well, right? Having that in place and having even during the event. Let's say I have a roundtable in Zurich, and one amazing feature I love from Alta is I just put the Alex, which is the AI agent, and say, can you please confirm with each individual if they are coming to the event?
That's awesome.
He calls, the AI agent calls and said, hey, we just wanted to confirm if you are coming to the event, yes and no. Another touch point, which increases the likelihood that they are actually joining the event instead of like falling through the raster.
So basically, the use case you're using Alta to name one of the use cases that we're talking here in how AI can help you. It's instead of you calling every single potential client that is going to attend the event, you give that list to Alex. Alex will confirm that directly, and that will increase the likelihood of having the meeting directly before the event, in a coffee shop, during the event, or even after the event if you align with them.
Definitely.
And that's the AI doing the whole job.
Everything.
So that's crazy. So how is that impacting your daily operations? You're saving X amount of time, I understand.
So it's
how you measure.
Just imagine you have like 50 people coming to an event and you want to reconfirm with them. You, of course, can write an email, you have to call, but if you call them, the chances are much higher. So imagine you need to do this manually by yourself. It's like a half of the day is done.
At a 2.5 minutes per call, if all of them pick up, we're talking about more than 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Half of the day is done just following up, which can easily be outsourced with an agent, with a high quality agent, right?
Correct.
Because a lot of people maybe think, but I don't feel comfortable that an AI agent calls and confirms.
That's crazy.
I said, man, but if
the result is there.
If you have listened one to Alex, he's already one of my best friends. But the quality is pretty.
The result is there.
Pretty insane. Pretty insane.
The result is there. So basically, to put it in as a takeaway, what we're seeing within AI here, and also with our partner Alta here, is that they develop this AI agent called Alex.
Yeah.
And the strategy is for one use case that could be in your case as an enterprise seller. Every time that I go to an event, it's a P in the A, calling everyone, meeting, scheduling the meetings and so on. The AI agent calls and do the job for me. I get back plus 10, 15, 20 hours that I use in another whatever the task it is.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Just one use case. There are many more use cases
Makes sense.
he can solve, but I think it's really helping me reducing the workload and focusing more on the important parts of following up and of course closing.
That's crazy. I see a couple of more use cases within that.
Me.
For sure, we always talk about inbound, outbound. How can we shorten sales cycles and make deals bigger and retain them for more time? The thing is that there is a reality, and this is connected to social context as well. When we are trying to do outbound or inbound, but with intent because someone downloaded the PDF, as you were saying, or some other stuff that could happen within LinkedIn, talking to a competitor or commenting into a competitor. Sometimes when we are talking about super SMBs, that this happened to me, I was selling 29, 79, and 129 average deals. Is that as a seller, I don't want to jump into those small inbound deals. Right?
Sounds tough, but it's the truth,
It's our job, but we hate it, man. We are measured by a quota, maybe 3K per month, and we are closing 29 deals. We are never getting there, right? We need to close 100 deals to get there, or even more. So what Alta is doing and what the use case, the powerful use case that they are seeing is like, hey, and in this case, the AI is not replacing the seller. It's like USDR, UBDR, UAE, a full sales cycle. Keep yourself doing what you're doing, that it's focusing on high intent, high leverage, high deal priority. While Alex, for example, is reaching out to all those inbound leads, super small, that no one wants to pick up, but still will be qualifying them within a shorter period of time with the right intent at the right timing.
24/7.
24/7.
All languages which is required.
That's important because that's key. So you want to say that? How is that works? Like the language thing and whatever the region. Because that's another blocker that we have.
How many of us had that issue that you pick up the phone and say, perdona, ¿hablas español también? He says, sí, claro. And then,
exactly. There's a barrier there with language.
It's important that they, if someone from China or someone from Finland calls, you can even talk, let the AI talk in their local language where they feel more comfortable. Correct. And maybe even be more open to share potential issues, right?
That's crazy. So 2 use cases. One use case is, there's not only for qualification or when we are receiving email leads, but also for going to events, confirming venue attendees, and making sure that our time is more efficient. This is why AI exists, making us more efficient, saving time, saving money, and us being smarter, focusing on priorities. And on the other side, what they call the agentic AI. That is for those small deals that no one wants to pick up, the AI will do the job for us. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a game changer, like in the SaaS industry, right?
Yeah.
And this can be maybe even replicated to all kind of different industries, right? Hotel industry, booking or rescheduling. Last time as well, I called a restaurant and I said, when do you want your table? Like 11. No, 8 p.m. Okay. How many people? 3 people, 1 child, 2 adults. I'm like, is this an AI? Yeah, it was an AI.
Just give me your email. Okay, the reservation is booked, and that's it. And no one wants to do that again.
Exactly. And I think it's not bad, right? Because who likes to do this job? Like, But getting back to the point, and I think we talk quite a lot about AI, right?
Yeah.
But Alan, how can we cut through this noise I mentioned at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Because AI, it's a beautiful invention, but it's as well a pain.
Yeah.
Because it makes a lot of noise. A lot of people are using it wrong as sellers.
Yeah.
They're using it like as mass emails, which I'm tired, to be honest, to see those emails. How can you cut a seller through through this noise nowadays?
There is one strategy that I apply as a golden rule, that it's one pain, one solution, one offer at a time. It's like the 3-step framework that I use, or the 3X framework.
Can you elaborate each of the steps?
Absolutely. So the framework or the strategy is, in order to break or cut through the noise and to break the patterns, it's one pain, one solution, one offer, or one solution as you prefer, at a time. Meaning that whenever you're reaching out to Kevin, to Alan, to whatever the prospect that you're reaching out, you need to focus your full sequence into all of this.
Okay.
One pain, one solution, and one offer.
Okay, let's make it actionable for the audience. I have a SaaS solution.
Correct.
I'm the head of sales of our SaaS solution.
Perfect.
And you want to convince me why I should need your service.
Perfect. Awesome. So what I'm doing first, imagine that I am another SaaS solution, not as a consultant, because it's easy to relate. So the first thing that I do is, okay, you are selling automations, for example. Now that we are talking about automation. You are selling an automation tool that automates process for customer success. Okay, great. So what I would say is, hey, I know that your service, I understand that your service do 3 things. Automate the repetitive task from customer success, respond to tickets from your angry clients, and eliminate bugs from, the Jira tasks or whatever you have. Okay. So if I know that my solution can address all the 3 things that you are selling, meaning that either you are not reaching to the right customers, your outbound is not good enough, your pipeline is dry, and the solution is not getting a market fit, etc. So instead of talking about all of them at the same time,
just pick one.
Pick one. Okay. And that pick one will be related to, if we want to implement AI, the first thing that I do, and this is the step-by-step process, I jump into Perplexity or ChatGPT for research better Perplexity. In my case, could be Gemini, could be Claude. And I say, hey, first I need to understand why this persona, this title, this buyer persona, is frustrated and going through these challenges. Challenge 1, challenge 2, challenge 3. Then pick the most important one based on your understanding of the market. And once I pick that, I connect that with my solution and my offer.
Got it. And this is more like from a framework perspective, right? Let's say we have like an SDR listening now, something he can implement tomorrow in his outreach way. Right?
Great question. So if you're an SDR, what I would suggest is open ChatGPT, put the title of your dream prospect, of your ICP, the one that is making the final decision. Ask for the 3 main and biggest challenges of that role in that specific industry, in that potential company right now in 2026, and the symptoms of those challenges. Meaning, if we don't solve those challenges, what is the cause, the consequence?
Got it. Right?
The challenge is the cause, the consequence is the symptom, what they feel and what will happen if this is not solved.
And how this SDR should reach out now.
Once you have the symptom, pick one.
Okay.
Once you pick one, you ask the ChatGPT, and you can for sure develop more about it. You can say, okay, with this one, I will create a multi-touch strategy. LinkedIn, if you are in the US, SMS, for example, or WhatsApp in Latin America or Europe, or email and phone call, right? And each touch point will talk only about that symptom that is related to that pain, that is related to an offer that it's yours, to one solution, right? For sure, we can define templates here, but I don't want to jump into that right now. But it's basically, okay, every touch point will be unified, but every message will be adding value to the previous touch point.
Got it.
Right? So the first could be
so
one
you build
offer.
like a kind of...
It's like a ladder.
Yeah.
Once you stop the first sequence, imagine that you stop the sequence, you say, hey, this prospect didn't reply. You wait for 2-3 weeks, depending on the sales cycle that you have. you pick the second problem, second challenge.
And how many touch points do you see as most effective? Because I
Between
remember
4 and 6. That's a straightforward question.
Okay.
Man. Answer, basically.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay, good. One.
It depends on if you're selling enterprise,
Yeah.
it's more about the multi-threading.
Yeah.
If you're selling SMB, it's
Yeah.
about who is the right person with the right data. Straightforward. What we are seeing, the data is showing between 3 to 5 is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
But there are two stats that are important to understand. Most deals, opportunities / replies happens after the 6th touch.
Okay. Yeah, because I heard some like there were like some stats I think was from Salesloft, which
Yeah, it could be.
a couple of years ago, and they were like 36 touches. I was like,
No, that's crazy.
if I do 36 touches in Germany, you know what I get?
you
send
get a lawyer.
They sent a lawyer letter to me.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, that depends how you understand and how we define the 36 touches.
Yeah.
If the 36 touches means that there are, I don't know, 6 campaigns of 5 emails or 6 emails each, well, maybe, but this is not the case.
Yeah.
So it's like, remember, if 80+% of the deals, opportunities, and replies happens after the 5th touch, but there is another counterpart to it, that it's most sellers, they quit after the 4th touch.
Yep.
So this is a huge advantage and disadvantage.
As well, I have to say I'm guilty.
We've been all there, man.
Yeah.
Like, we call them, we send an email, we send another email, we call again, and we say, hey, you know what? I'm bothering them.
Yeah.
Until you have that no, you need to reach out.
Yeah.
But remember, cut through the noise.
Yeah.
It's not about, hey, I'm just pinging you, just reply to me. It's like adding
Deliver
value.
value with every outreach you do, right? I think that's something really important.
Yeah.
Many SDRs out there or salespeople in general miss, right? If you are able to add value, send like a case study related to their potential pain point, cutting through the noise with different outreach strategy, send a LinkedIn voice message, right? Those kind of things. You said SMS in the US, WhatsApp.
The bar is so low, man.
So
but we're still all doing the same.
Yeah. Like for me, for example, a really simple trick, right? Which a lot of people underestimate. If you use out there to all like the salespeople who use Teams, it's really effective. We actually moved from Teams to Slack, so I cannot use it anymore. But
what's the trick?
Yeah, so it's if you know, for example, you have a prospect, you talk to them once or twice, you had a Teams meeting with them, maybe just put in their email address into Teams. And you see if they are online or not. If they are online, it seems
crazy.
Or
they're active.
Yeah, if they're active, let's say you have the green circle. That means they are available now. They are working. They are not in a meeting because redwood means meeting, and you can see that even though they are outside of your organization. And then give them a call.
Man, that's GDPR, HIPAA compliance, I would say. But that's a crazy strategy.
It really helps. And I started communicating with many prospects directly on Teams instead of sending an email then back. Do you have a feedback for
that's
me?
Crazy.
It's like much more effective.
That's crazy.
It's cutting through the noise.
That's crazy. That's a really good strategy to cut through the noise. So let me go through one important point, and I think this is a question that most sellers are asking themselves, and I asked this myself. Why do you think, or what is the top one reason why there is so high turnover and there are so much failure within sellers when doing outbound or prospecting?
No idea.
That's crazy, because what we are seeing right now in the strategies and in the trends and in the stats is that, and let me put it as a question. Do you know average? This is just average, and it varies depending on the industry and the nature of the business. Do you know average how long an SDR/rep stays in a company nowadays before jumping into another one or being fired?
Yeah. I think 12 months.
It's a little bit more.
Yeah. 16?
Yeah, 16. There are some studies that said 15, 14, 16, 18, but it's 1 year and a half. And if you count the ramp-up process, that the shortest must be 2 to 1 month, 2 weeks to 1 month. Sometimes could be 3 months.
Yeah.
So you have someone being trained, if at some point you train them and you help them, but during the whole year, learning your stuff in order to get to full ramp up at full capacity. and either he or she is gone or
Yeah.
you're firing them, and that repeats the cycle.
Yeah.
And there are some causes and roots about that. And what I think is that there must be something about outbound that it's killing or burning us out.
It's a tough job.
It's tough.
It's
man.
tough. It's like,
I mean, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. Like, give me the real and hard truth about it. Like, it's not beautiful. Everything is not like just gold.
To be transparent, right? I think in my SDR job, 1 year SDR, I learned more than in my 6 years student
university
time in Germany, right? I had a good time as a student. I met amazing people, but I learned more as an SDR 1 year than 6 months.
All right.
Than 6 years as a student in Germany. So, and it's about rejection handling, right? If they hang up like 50 times a day on like at that time we had to be like doing quite a lot of calls, but if they hang up now, let's say 20, 30 times a day on you and say, no, not interested, be able to absorb all those rejections, it's tough, you know?
Crazy.
People screaming to you like, hey, if you call me one more time, I gonna sue you, you know, like everything happened already. I think
it's crazy. Don't you think that there is like a misunderstanding or a misbelief of people saying, I want to jump into tech sales because I will get money or something like that. But then there is a problem there. I think that there is a loophole where people jumps in without understanding that this is a freaking terrible, hard job to do. Beautiful. I love it. As I mentioned in the first episode, I guess, when we introduced ourselves, I was meant to be a seller, but I had 2 burnouts, right? So
it's exactly. I think it's one of the most rewarding jobs in case of what you put in and you get out.
Yeah,
it's tough, of course, but we are not flying a plane with 250 people in.
Correct.
Right? And
it's not that important.
And we can earn the same money like a pilot.
Yeah.
And I made,
even more. Sometimes.
Yeah, I made a YouTube video on my own channel as well about where is it easier to get to a certain salary point where you can compare to a pilot, right? A pilot, for example, needs 6 years to get to 250K a year.
6 years.
6 years. But first of all, they need to have $100,000 in debt. Because it costs certain money. As an SDR, you don't even need like
someone will teach you, and that's it.
My best SDR that he had no education. He didn't. He stopped the school.
He's killing it,
and he booked me like 15 meetings per month. You know,
that's
like
crazy.
So it's and you can, as in tech sales, if you have a good role, good quota attainment, you can easily get to the 250K in 3 years.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
Of course, it's not the same prestige. You're not flying a plane.
No, for sure. But I mean, that prestige is something that you can define it your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for sure. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's something that I always try to answer in the most honest way to everyone that is asking me. And it's like, no, you know what? Because I want to jump into sales. It's like, okay, you might love it. You might hate it.
Yeah.
There is one thing, and this is not like you putting your cassette on and repeating everything. Like, okay, this is beautiful and polite for the audience.
Yeah.
It's hard as F.
Yeah.
It's hard as F because one day you're in the top, one day you're in the ground.
Yeah.
You sold like crazy, you hit quota, everyone will cheer you up.
Yeah.
The next day you're zero again.
Yeah.
And everyone will say, no, you know what, Kevin, maybe he's not meant for this. It's like, man, I killed it like 13 quarters in a row.
Yeah.
And because 1 month I failed, but that's it.
Exactly.
For sure, there's one thing that I learned over the years that it's discipline beats talent every single day in sales. Yeah. I've seen, as you are saying about your SDR, and I want to connect this to outbound, to social context, to different ways of breaking patterns, of being different. I've seen reps that are coming from top reps that work with me that are coming from professional sports background.
Yeah.
Like they were tennis players. And it's like, what SDR means, what is a cold calling, what is an email. It's like, this is what you have to do. And you are teaching them and they are disciplined. Yeah. They don't take a no as an answer.
Yeah.
They are. So what do you think, like, what's that trait that you need to have in order to be successful in outbound or in hard sales?
You have to be hungry. You know, I was like reading last week a post like why people work in sales. It's not, of course, you can talk about like because I want to help people solve the issues. No, we are here to earn money.
Exactly.
So and you have to be hungry to eat to earn money. That's
exactly.
That's
exactly.
the truth. I don't want to tell you a story, but so you need to be hungry. Yeah. Then the second part is you need to be disciplined.
Yeah.
I have because I had as well certain SDRs who were like performing and then going down, performing and going
like
down.
A roller coaster.
Exactly. And you need to have a thick skin.
Yeah.
One interview question I had once managed in a startup in Berlin, hired 10 SDRs. And I always ask the people, like they're fresh from the university. They said, yeah, I applied for this role. I said, okay, are you okay that you have to call like 50 people a day?
Or even more?
Or even more. And 45 from them, they hang up and they say they're not interested. Are you okay with that? And then I said, okay, yes, I'm okay. Okay, let's try it 1 week.
Exactly.
And many of them said like, oh, I'm not okay with that.
I'm done.
It's not what I want.
I like that strategy of not hiring, but paying someone the salary for 1 or 2 weeks and see how it goes. Because maybe it's not like a full sample, but you will see how they behave besides the results.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But all right, I think that we can talk about this like for a whole year, a whole life, because it's more about the emotional stuff. But should we jump into the next topic and play the card game?
Yeah, let's play some cards.
Awesome. So let me begin with this.
Yeah,
and let me explain to the audience what this is about. As you can see, we have a lot of cards here. And these cards, every card includes a question. And we call this chapter or this section the ping pong of yes or no and why questions. And basically are rapid fire questions where Kevin will ask me 2 questions. I will ask him 2 questions. And I have 60 seconds to reply. Sounds good?
Yep, let's do it.
Let's go. So, skills category. Scripts, are they helpful or harmful?
Harmful.
Why?
What I told always my STRs is don't learn anything like out of your, like, don't learn anything
by heart. Okay.
Except one thing, which is your elevator pitch, right? Why? Because I told them if someone wakes you up in the middle of the night and says, what are you selling? You should be able to respond in 30 seconds and straight to the point.
Okay.
If you have a script, of course you can make your scripts, but don't use them. Just for your own head to build like a framework, but don't read them.
Okay.
So there are different kind of people, right? Different kind of styles, how people learn. And some people need to have something written down and then they repeat it, and learn it.
Correct.
But I said never read from a script. So it can be a big disadvantage.
Awesome. All right.
Now my turn.
Yeah, and my turn to answer.
Methodology,
okay?
Methodology, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead. No, I'm just repeating.
Sales is psychology or process?
Sales, it's definitely psychology.
Yeah? Why?
Definitely.
Give me an example.
If you know how to influence people by emotions and how to ask specific questions, how to use the power of no, how to use the power of silence, how to use other processes in your favor to close the deal, psychology will be on top of the process. That doesn't mean, and I want to be radical and take position here. And that's why I say psychology, because I love the neuroscience behind the sales. But that doesn't mean that you can do it in the way you want it. There's always a process or a system that needs to be followed, connected to the psychology that you put behind. That's why there is a phrase that we always listen into the sales that it's art or science. Well, it's kind of both. It's science, it's a process, it's art, it's psychology, right? But yeah, definitely psychology. And I do stand by that.
Perfect.
Let's go. One more. Outbound. Now that we are talking about social context and outbound.
Yeah.
This is a straightforward one. Cold calling still works?
Yes. Yes.
You're confident. Tell me why.
Cutting through the noise, And it's even will become more effective. Why? The newer generation is mainly on their phone. They are not that, I don't want to say scared, but they are not that open to pick up the phone and call someone, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
It's biological.
yeah, I have a 5-year-old son. If I imagine like their generation, right? They are hiding behind the phone. They're chatting with their language models, but their human interaction is becoming less and less. So if someone want to cut through the noise in the future, I think will be, if you are a good cold caller in the future, you will make a ton of money.
I agree. That's awesome, man. I don't wanna jump into your answer, but I have a really deep perspective about it.
Let's get to that afterwards.
Let's do the last two.
Yeah, outbound personalization at scale, real or myth?
Okay. No, it's real, 100%. The thing is how we use it. For sure, everything is being personalized right now, but there is a misconception about what personalization means, and it's not the variables like hey, name, company, industry.
Yeah,
that's the commodity.
You recently raised.
Exactly. We already know that it's how we use personalization compared to relevance.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about at the beginning, like using an intent, using a trigger, and personalize that around that scenario with the framework of one pain, one solution, one offer at a time. So combining all the strategy to make sure that then you can call that personalization.
Yeah.
Okay. At scale, doing that for a lot of people at the same time, but each of them will receive a specific message.
Yeah.
Right.
Last one.
Okay. I think that we spent a little bit about talking about this.
Yeah.
So this is outbound category and says AI for writing emails, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why?
Because it makes your life much easier.
Okay.
It saves you a lot of time.
Okay.
But always put your personal touch to it.
Okay.
Right? It's the same with content creation,
Same.
right?
I like the analogy.
Anyone who says to me, I'm a content creator and I'm not using AI of creating
You're
content,
lying.
lying straight to your face.
Liar. Go to jail. You're lying to me.
I write all my posts by myself.
I have man. I don't believe you. I even have my GPT creating my post.
Yeah.
I created a custom GPT with a lot of knowledge. Look, and then it's like, yes.
And it's
go
the same.
ahead.
It's the same with emails. Of course, you have to. I think it's important that you then put your personal touch to it, that it doesn't sound too robotic.
Yeah.
Don't write a prompt and say, okay, can you make it sound more personal or more human or something? No, put your own touch to it, right? Examples or something you identified on there.
Storytelling, emotional stuff,
exactly,
whatever.
Exactly. So definitely using AI.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. I think that we covered a lot of topics.
Yeah.
If I have to sum up and define some key takeaways, and we always do this, like correct me if I'm wrong and add on top of me. But basically, I think that we are always talking about AI outbound and how AI is increasing our chances of getting a reply within outbound and how tough outbound became in order to make sure that we are doing or applying a good strategy, apply AI, for example, as we were saying with Alta, right? Within Alex as a AI agent calling for as your use cases for even if you're going to an event to confirm people there and save a lot of hours and time. On the other side, if you have an SMB, use that agent in order to pick up on those inbounds that no one wants to pick up on and start generating pipeline on that side.
Be able to filter the intent data.
Important, super important.
To relevance of then giving your salespeople the right leads to reach out.
That's important.
Right? Because there's so many different intent data points which you can consider, like from hiring, website visit, downloads, liking,
it's overwhelming.
Commenting.
There's no way that you can do it by yourself.
No human can get or summarize all this intent data points to one lead. But AI can, right? This is the magic on AI. So having that in place makes it automatically a lead machine. how Alta get a 7-figure pipeline using exactly this strategy.
It's all the top of the funnel that it's basically being boosted or being optimized on top of what you're doing with AI, agentic stuff, and so on. So that's the key takeaway. On top of, hey guys, maybe it's overused, but be different, break the patterns.
Yeah.
Right now, the bar is so low that everyone is doing the same.
Yeah.
Everyone is doing the same. Just try to be different.
Yeah.
Tackle a new angle, tackle a new channel, pick up the phone, definitely. Because if you are competing with 20-year-old, because we are older, 20 years old guys, if you pick up the phone, you will be leading the leaderboard for sure.
Yeah. 100%.
So those are the key takeaways. And as always, to conclude, thank you very much, Reply, for being part of this crazy adventure and this journey as a main sponsor. Thank you for all the audience to watching, to listening, and to being part and learning with us. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that button.
Hit that button. It's
hit
important.
that button. Hit that support. Reach out to LinkedIn, to Kevin on LinkedIn.
Ask questions in the comments. If if something you want us to dig deeper, maybe in another episode. Just
ideas, insights, whatever you want. We are making this podcast deconstructed. We don't want to be the formal guys.
Exactly.
We want to help and give stories that you can feel related to. In the upcoming episodes, we are going to talk about a lot of new stuff that we are cooking, but we are digging deeper into always AI and the FOMO about it.
Yeah.
AI outbound for AI SDRs as well. A lot of topics about strategies, negotiation, tactics, modern selling. Guests coming, super important. We have a really exclusive guest visiting us. So yeah, stay tuned and see you in the next one.
Cool.